Bob's Breakfast.
I'm Graham Mack. Let's get the latest news. Chris Hubbard.
Millions of British parents embarrass their kids on a daily basis. The reason why? It's due to a lack of fashion sense. I know my dad used to have this green T-shirt that we really despised. Me and my sister absolutely hated it.
For me, it was... my old man used to have these... They weren't quite khaki, but they looked military.
Yeah.
Shorts. And in the summer, he'd work in the garden with his shirt off. Now, he was not the kind of bloke who should have taken his shirt off. I mean,
you generally find that, though, don't you?
He had boobs and a beer gut.
What a sight.
He looked like Benny Hill. Imagine topless Benny Hill in It Ain't Half Hot Mum shorts. That's what he looked like. Now, that was fine when he was in the back garden because he was hidden.
Yeah.
And one day he said, come and help me put this stuff in the car and I'm going to take it to the tip.
Yeah.
All right, so I helped him put some stuff in the car. He says, you'll have to come with me to help me get it out. Oh, no. And I went out in the car.
With topless dad.
Yeah, driving. Oh,
the thing is, it would have looked like he wasn't wearing anything.
It did,
as he drove down
yeah.
the road.
It looked like something very sinister. I was just hoping none of my mates are in any of the other cars. And hope that when we get to the tip, there's none of my mates see me with this.
Bob's Breakfast.
This is Lavinia from Hatfield.
Hello, Lavinia.
Graham,
Yes.
I must tell you, tomorrow I'll be 90.
Will you really?
40 years I was phoning you and got through 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
Lavinia from Hatfield.
Yes.
And I just wanted you to know that tomorrow, Graham, please wish me happy birthday because I've reached 90 tomorrow.
Lavinia, I'm not sure I'll remember. Can you give me a call back tomorrow?
I'll try if I can get through to you. That's the thing.
That is the thing. It is a bit tricky. So 90 years old. Goodness
Yes,
me.
I can't believe it, though, Graham.
I can't believe it
I
either.
just feel like a teenager, just to say. But of all the lovely things that you used to say to me, and shall I try then tomorrow and phone you?
You should try, but just in case, I should probably do you a birthday song this morning.
Oh.
So what can you tell me about yourself, Lavinia? What should be in your song?
I love so many, because I was a ballroom dancer with my husband. He died 4 years ago, but Wally.
Ah.
Yeah, so we were ballroom dancers.
Well, maybe I could put Wally in there. Let me see what I can do. Let me see if...
Wally and Lavinia, but I'm Lavinia.
Let me see if I can do something... Tomorrow's Lavinia's birthday.
All right, then.
She's sounding jolly. Tomorrow's Lavinia's birthday. She used to dance around with Wally.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Tomorrow's Lavinia's birthday. Happy birthday to you. She'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 tomorrow!
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Graham.
Yes, we're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party. Yeah.
Great grandchildren and 11 grandchildren. Terrific. And having a party in Hatfield around at my son.
We'll all be around there,
On
Lavinia.
Saturday morning.
Thank you very much.
Tomorrow is my day.
All right, give me a call tomorrow.
Recognise your voice all the time.
Thank you very much. Cheers, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bob's Breakfast.
So this list of gadgets we'd like to see come back, all inspired by the Nokia 3310 knockoff, the Nokia knockoff. Well, Nokia have knocked off the Nokia, haven't they?
Well,
really?
they have, yeah.
They've brought out the retro version of the 3310 because they thought that people wanted it. I've still not seen one.
Well, apparently they've all been sold out.
Oh,
They've
it's
done
been a
really
success.
Well. Like you say, though, I've still not seen anyone using them.
Seen one, no. So there's now, this is ebuyer.com. Asked over 2,000 Brits which gadgets would they like to see return in 2017. I can't believe the Sony Discman made it to number one. It was rubbish. It wasn't even as good as the cassette one because it was the wrong shape, the wrong size, it was hard to hold, couldn't put it in your pocket, it was terrible.
Who wants to go back from listening to music on their mobile phone to carrying a great big clumpy device around with them?
And a library of discs.
And looking like a goon.
A bag of discs.
Yeah, hanging off your belt.
No. Number two, though, the Motorola Razr phone. Now
like that?
you've no living memory of the Motorola Razr phone.
No, I've heard of it.
It's a great phone. It was a flip-out phone like the old StarTAC. So it was like a Star Trek communicator. It flipped out, but it was metal and it was
that's
thin.
nice.
It was lovely. I had it on a pay-as-you-go. It cost me next to nothing. I never texted and hardly made any calls on it. I just liked having it.
Oh, it looks space age though, doesn't it?
It did. I liked it. I once found myself in an audition having to sell one. It was one of those bizarre situations I was in. A bloke rang me one day at the radio station I was working at, and he said, it's Ron someone or other. He was an agent. And this was in the south of England, south coast, but he was like from somewhere up north. But he was like, I like your style. Come and see me. I can help you out. And he was one of them. He's like, just hang on a minute. Deirdre, tell Tony Blackburn it's a no. And he was like, yeah, if you come and see me, just wait a second. Tell Simon Bates I've got a much bigger name on the other line. So I said, all right. So I went down to see him. Yeah. He says, yes, I like what you do. And he says, you know what you'd be good at? I said, what's that? He goes, selly telly. And I'm like, what's that? Selly telly? And he was on about those, those TV channels where they sell stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose like QVC and whatever. But he was talking more about like bidding ones and whatever.
Yeah, because there were a couple of those that...
Yeah. I said, oh yeah. He said, have you done any of that? I said, no, I haven't. Well, sell me your phone. And I had the Motorola Razr phone. Yeah. So I'm like, well, this is a Motorola Razr phone, as you can see, and I'm trying to, be like one of these people, but selling my phone. Yeah. So then he goes, we've only got 50 left. And I went, sorry? And he went, I'm in your ear now. You'll have an earpiece. I want to see if you can keep going while I'm in your ear.
I would have loved to have seen this.
So I'm like, all right, so I'm doing stuff. And he goes, we've only got 50 left. I said, well, we've only got 50 left of these, so you want to be quick, because when they're gone, they're gone. You're doing very well. You're doing very well. Don't say that. And from the BOBfm community file, something serious. A lot of people in the home counties are becoming addicted to something that gives them a quick high. And once they become hooked, it takes over and it destroys their life. They find it difficult to concentrate and become introverted, antisocial and self-obsessed. I am, of course, talking about knitting. As with all addictions, the addict starts off with the soft stuff, the odd mitten, a booty, or some socks. But when the addiction really takes hold, they get hooked on the hard stuff. Cable knit jumpers. Now, so far, there have been few knitting-related fatalities, but this could change soon because of a frightening new trend. Addicts are sharing needles. Please, if someone close to you becomes knitting dependent, help them by putting them in touch with the nearest knitting needle exchange program. Is our Prime Minister a recluse?
Well, she did turn up yesterday to this tower block fire in West London.
She turned up, yes.
For half an hour, I think.
For half an hour. She visited the emergency services people, which is good that she visited them. But she didn't do any press. No. In fact, the only pictures I've seen of her visit looked like they were taken on a long lens from a helicopter.
Well, yes, they were all aerial photos from some distance away.
Yeah. Does she not realise this is a democracy and she was elected by the people to represent them and serve them? She's not a monarch. What is going on with this? She didn't meet any of the survivors, the victims. Meanwhile, leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, whether you agree with his politics or not, but at least he was there. He was at a church. He was hugging people. Yeah. Would have been nice if she'd done that.
There was that human connection there. You've got to admit it.
Yeah. And then you've got the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. He's mingling with the people, talking to the press. and he's answering an awkward question from a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
A fair question. And I think he handled it reasonably well, too.
Yeah, yeah.
He's amongst it. He's in there.
He's there every day.
Where's she? Now, on the day of the fire broke out at like 1 a.m. We heard about it about 4 a.m. It wasn't until about 6 o'clock that night we heard from her. And that was from inside Downing Street. That tower block can't be like 2 miles from Downing Street. And we heard from her, maybe a bit more than 2 miles, but it's in the city of London, for goodness sake. She was inside Downing Street talking to one journalist, all very controlled. It wasn't a press conference. She doesn't seem to take questions from the press. Is she scared of the press? She goes out. Well, on that day, the day of the fire, she looked like she didn't leave the house. And then yesterday, she goes to meet the firefighters, no press, not meeting any of the survivors or victims, then goes back home and then does a control piece from inside the safety of Downing Street.
You kind of get the impression that one of her advisors said, "Oh, come on, you're going to have to go out there. You're going to have to meet the people and see the devastation that's been caused."
Yeah.
So she did that.
Days late. Yeah. And she meets the people from the emergency services. I mean, that's the right thing to do. But if you should meet everybody involved here.
Yeah.
And maybe take some questions from some journalists instead of them having to be hundreds of feet away in a helicopter on a long lens. That seems to be the closest she got to the press. Until one gets invited inside Downing Street in a controlled interview, in a controlled environment, in her home. I don't know what's going on here. Theresa May has become the Julian Assange of Downing Street.
It's Bob.
Worst behaved dogs. This is according to insurance companies, the dogs that have caused the most damage. Labradors came out number 1 on their list. Now, beagles did not make the list, and I've never had a dog, but I'd love a beagle. I just think they look so cute. Jane's on the phone. Morning, Jane.
I've got one thing to say to you.
Yes?
Beagles.
Beagles are gorgeous, aren't they?
You don't want a beagle.
I don't. Well, I've never had a dog, but I fancy a beagle because...
A beagle is not a beginner's dog. Trust me.
But they look so cute. Even a full-grown one looks like a puppy. What's wrong with beagles?
Oh, I had a beagle called Jasper.
Right.
It was a child. He was a birthday present, actually, and yes, he was for life and all that. Jasper was very good lesson in why you don't want a beagle. First of all, he was a scavenger and he ate everything. So, building at the housing estate next door, my grandma kept having to make entire building estates sort of builders' sandwiches because the dog had found theirs and eaten them.
Eating the builders' sandwiches.
Trust me, that's a lot of builders.
Okay, yes.
Packet of balloons once, took him for a walk.
Oh.
Noises behind a bush.
Yeah.
Looked out. An entire packet of balloons appeared from his bottom entirely as they went in.
Oh, so that wasn't a trip to the vet. They just went right through.
They went right through.
Yeah.
The worst was the dog obedience trial. My friend had a very good black Labrador called Sammy. And Anne and her dad and Sammy and her mum picked me up to go to Anne's obedience competition with her dog. I took Jasper.
Yeah.
And I was okay. He was on the lead. And had a pocket full of custard creams welded to my pocket.
Right.
So I sort of prepared to watch. And Anne's dad said, "Oh, no, I've entered you too." So, first test. It was outside in an arena, roped off. First test was at the sit and stay. So I plonked Jasper down, muttered dire threats of awful things that would happen to him if he didn't stay where he was, and surreptitiously stuffed a custard cream somewhere near him. And walked back off down the field. You had to walk with your back to them. And of course the idea being your dog stayed. By the time I got back to my post, there were general mutterings of displeasure, which were turning to outraged cries. The rumble was gathering, but you weren't allowed to turn round, so I sort of was shuddering, because I knew it would be Jasper. Anyway, I got to my post, I turned round, Jasper was not where I left him.
No.
Jasper had realised that the dog next door was a bitch.
No.
Jasper had gone to make friends in a very physical sort of way.
Oh, no.
I had to leg it down the field and pull him off. That was bad.
Bob's Breakfast.
So Stevenage and Welwyn Hatfield councils checking out their tower blocks to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah, that's right. They say that none of the cladding that was used on the Grenfell Tower fire is used in any of their blocks.
That's good news.
That's what confirmation we've had.
I had a thought about this because, you know, it's impossible to imagine the hell that people went through that were trapped inside that building.
Yeah.
And I've never been trapped inside a burning building. The closest I've got is I was once in a steam-filled room. I, as you know, worked maintenance as at an oil refinery, and we had to look after the hot water systems in different places. And we got a call from the electrical department once saying when they turn the taps on in the gents' toilets in the electrical department, steam comes out. So I went and checked it out, and it turned out that a thermostatic valve had jammed wide open, and a relief valve had failed. And so instead of making hot water, it just kept heating and heating and heating this huge tank. I mean, a tank as big as this room of hot water. It just kept heating and heating and heating it, and it had become steam. And so when you turn the tap on in the toilet, steam came out. The thing was, there was nothing to stop this. The thermostatic valve was jammed open, and the relief valve on the tank had failed. If it kept going, the tank was going to explode, and it would have caused serious damage. So as soon as I worked out that that was going on, I ran back into the toilets from the plant room where the tank was, and I turned on all the taps to vent the steam.
Okay, yeah.
Well, this toilet block, this room, just completely filled with steam. Now, it was just a square room, and I knew where the door was. I'd come in through it. I couldn't find my way out.
No.
And I had to get down really low and then crawl out. But if you were in a place where it's like corridors and stuff, and it's filled with not steam, smoke, black smoke, to be able to find your way out be very difficult. Makes me wonder, why are all exit signs placed high?
There needs to be, on a plane, for example,
Yeah.
you've got those green strips either side
That
of the
light
aisle.
up. And that was a result of a plane crash in Manchester in the 80s, where the cabin filled with smoke and people couldn't see the exit signs. And so they decided now on all planes around the world, after that crash, that little chaser lights light up on the floor pointing towards the nearest exit. Not the same in buildings. And the fire brigade say that if you're in a smoke-filled, you're supposed to get down low because
Absolutely.
the smoke fills the room from the top down. I've seen exit signs above doorways. In the event of a fire and smoke, there's no way you'd see any exit signs, not even the ones that are like eye level on the side of corridors.
No, if it's because that smoke, it's not just smoke like you get off a bonfire. This is thick, acrid stuff.
It's poison, yeah, and
It is.
you can't see through it. You can't even, if it was just steam, trust me, you can't even see through steam, and steam's minor compared to smoke. And my situation, minor compared to what people went through. Exit signs should be on the skirting boards or painted on the floor. When's that going to change? Morning, Mick.
You on about these pets,
Yes.
bad pets?
Yeah.
Well, when I was in the juniors, we used to take it in turns to look after the class rabbit.
Right.
Every time there was a half term, they
Yeah.
used to say to one of the kids, "You can take it home with you,"
Yeah.
and we used to look after it. So it was my turn once, and I took it home. We went out for the day, come back again, and the dog had got in the cage and ripped the rabbit to shreds.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
No!
So we got in, there was carnage all over the place.
Oh, no! What did you say when you got back to school?
Do you know what we did? We went to the pet shop and we got another rabbit. Well, the rabbit we had was like white with like black spots on it, but the
Yeah.
rabbit we took back was like a brownie colour.
Nothing
No
like
one knew the difference.
Bob's Breakfast.
Well, Brexit's already going badly for Britain, isn't it?
Well, I know talk started yesterday. David Davis was over there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Brexit Secretary.
He's backpedaling already.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, first day, the Brexit Secretary, David Davis, conceded to EU demands agreeing to a two-phase negotiation. Now, what this means is the divorce terms will be set first before the discussions on trade relations. Mr. Davis, I don't know if you remember, he's the one that said that this will be the row of the summer. He's conceded on day one. There's going to be no row. He must have decided that, well, the easiest way to avoid a row is to just give in. To be a doormat. We've got 2 years of negotiations ahead.
We have, yeah.
On day one, we're already on the ropes. Not looking good. I don't even know why we're calling these things talks. David Davis is making out we're actually going to negotiate here. This is the bloke that conceded on day one to a thing he said was going to be the row of the summer. It gives you some idea of what kind of negotiation position we're in. The person who gets the best deal in a negotiation is the one who can walk away from the deal. We can't walk away from the deal. We've had a referendum. We're leaving. So we're going to have to take whatever deal we're given. We're going to have to do, and we're going to have to pay whatever the EU say we're going to have to do or pay to get out. And that's it. And 27 countries, even if part of the deal looks okay, only one country has to veto it and the deal's off.
Yeah, well, the EU essentially don't want you to leave. Once you're within that little kind of group of countries,
yeah,
they don't want you out, which is why they put all these obstacles.
That's why it's so hard to get out. That's why it's so hard to cancel Netflix. It's just the same situation. Hey, if you're looking for the perfect metaphor, though, you don't have to look much further than the ceremonial gifts that were exchanged at the beginning of the talks.
Okay.
David Davis gave Michel Barnier, who represents the EU, a book about mountaineering. And Mr. Barnier presented Mr. Davis with a walking stick.
Right.
So what does that mean? Does Britain's gift show that we have a mountain to climb here? And what about the EU's gift to Britain? A walking stick. Does that show that we're hobbling into these talks? Or were they just showing us the big stick they're going to hit us with? Now, there's an important person having an important birthday today, and they said they were actually going to call me to remind me that I needed to at least acknowledge the fact, but they haven't called yet, so I'm going to call them.
Hello?
Lavinia.
Oh, Graham. I didn't phone you, did I? I thought
You were going to phone me to remind me. Luckily,
it was so gorgeous yesterday. I thought it was enough for one day.
Well, I remembered that it is your birthday today. You're turning 90 today.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Okay, and what are you going to be doing today? Bit of bungee jumping?
I doubt it.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Be some downhill skiing, bit of bobsled?
Some of the family are coming in this morning.
Are they? That'd be nice, yeah.
Cake waiting for everybody.
Yeah.
As well as some other things.
Uh-huh.
And, but yes, I still can't believe I'm 90 years old.
Did you demand a recount?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got a big do on Saturday as well, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Round in Dover's Way. My son just lives 2 minutes around the corner there.
Yeah. Oh, well, that sounds good.
So that would be lovely, and all the family will be joining me there.
All right. Well, I better sing you happy birthday, hadn't I?
Oh, it'll be lovely, wouldn't it?
Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Levinia. Happy birthday to you.
Graham, it's so lovely of you to do that for me, I must say.
You have the best day, okay?
Oh,
have the best day. And remind everybody, if you're in the shops or anything today and someone looks miserable, can you just say to them, hey, it's my birthday today, I'm 90. Bit of respect, please.
Well, I try and tell everybody.
Okay, you do that. Good for you.
All right, thank you then, Graham.
Cheers,
Lovely.
Lavinia.
Thank you for the call.
See ya.
So
Bye.
gorgeous, thanks.
See
Love
ya, bye.
to you.
This
Bye, dear.
is
Bye.
Bob.
I'm Graham Mack, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, make sure you share it on Facebook and Twitter, and you can subscribe at iTunes.
Trending on Twitter this morning, Boaty McBoatface.
Is it back?
The submarine has returned home.
Oh, no, you see, now it was the ship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Arctic Surveyor or whatever the thing was. It was being built, and the competition to name it, Boaty McBoatface. And the weasels that ran the competition decided not to do what they said, which is we'll name the boat after the number one, which was Boaty McBoatface. So instead they named the submarine after it, which is a real kind of like a parenty thing to do, isn't it?
Isn't it?
You know, I tell you, like Julie had this and she'll never forget it. She had 2 older brothers and an older sister. She's the youngest of 4. Star Wars comes out and they decide she's too young to see it. I don't know what age she was. All her older siblings went to see Star Wars. Her parents took her to the planetarium instead. And she's still not over that.
How disappointing.
Bob's Breakfast.